Taylor.
Hi, Pete. What did you think about this response from your group, and how can you avoid, I guess, what happened after Game 3 going into Game 6?
Yeah. Well, I mean, every situation is different. So, I mean, they're going to push back. They're at home. We've got to go and play a good road game. I'm not surprised by our response. We got a proud group, I think they feed off people doubting them. And, there's a lot of people before the series started and then after last game, didn't, well, I mean, we know the what was kind of the feeling in the hockey world about where we were at, and I think our guys, wanted to prove that there's a lot of pride in our group and there's a lot of playoff experience, and I think they showed all those things tonight.
Coach, the team seemed more on the same page tonight. The lines seemed more connected. I mean, what do you think clicked tonight? Yeah,
we were just better. I mean, the last game we played a poor game. It happens. In a 7-game series, you're going to have a night where you're off, and we were off. And, we owned it, and we fixed it, and we responded.
Coach, you called this morning, and I'm just wondering what went into the vision that you had of this finally kind of popping with your top name guys getting hot, and how did it finally come to fruition?
Well, I feel I trust our group. We've been on some long playoff runs and some battles with a lot of guys in that room, and I know the character in that room, and I knew we would respond. I didn't know we would win 6-2. I didn't even know we'd win, but I knew we would play a really good game, and we did that.
And just to follow up on that piece of it, I found it interesting, kind of maybe from a sports psychology standpoint, we've seen coaches challenge their players. I thought it was interesting that in the same breath you challenged them, but also supported them by saying, hey, they're all due.
Yeah.
Was that intentional? Was that just kind of how it came out? I just wondered if there was anything that went into the mentality of that comment.
No, I'm not smart enough for sports psychology. I just, that's how I feel. I felt our group was due. I never envisioned a series where, those guys don't show up and contribute. The guys that got on the board tonight, Wyatt Johnson and, Rupe and Rantanen, obviously we're getting to know, but Harley, I thought Jamie Benn was absolutely outstanding tonight. Maybe didn't score, but played against McKinnon almost every shift. And so, we just got some great leadership in there.
Hey, Pete. As great as the start was, how important was it to push back when they made it 3-2?
Well, that was huge. Again, a response. There was no panic. They grabbed that momentum there in the second period, and that obviously could have bled into some other things. But we were on tonight. We were everybody was dialed in, and there was a confident feeling on the bench, regardless of the fact that it was now 3-2, that we were going to respond.
Hey, Pete.
Yeah. Thanks, Leah.
Wyatt was obviously so great for you guys last year in the playoffs. To see him score just 9 seconds in, did you just see something different from him tonight? And how important was it for him to get a couple?
Nothing different. He's a big game player. He's been due to score. This has been a strange series. It's been tight. There hasn't been a lot of room. Their goalies made some big saves at moments. You're not going to keep a guy like that off the board, though, an entire series. And I really felt he was going to, pop at some point, and he obviously did tonight.
Pete, what do you think it means to Mikko Rantanen to finally score? Just everything he's had to deal with. We've called this to Mikko Rantanen Bowl, playing his old team, 2 trades this year, and he's not used to not scoring at this time of year.
Yeah.
What's that? How big is that?
Huge relief for him. You could tell by our group's reaction how happy our guys were for him. I mean, they feel that. They see him carrying that around. Having said that, I can't tell you how professionally he's been in his approach every day, in putting the team first. You know, and you wouldn't know he hasn't scored. You know, he cares about us winning. I think more importantly, he wants to know defensively what we can do, what he can do to help us win. So, you know, but you know, this guy scored his whole life. He gets paid to score, and you know, I think when guys like that finally get one, you know, hopefully look out.
Pete, the physical kind of part of the game, especially later on, it seemed like they were trying to bring a little bit more after whistles. And how did you like your response, especially players like Lindell and Bischel late in the game when that started happening?
Yeah, we get some big men back there. You know, Lindell, Bischel, Petrovic. You know, even CC, Lybushkin, Harley. It's a big group of defenders, and you know, I think they're hard to play against when our forwards are defending well and managing the puck. That group can really play a physical, hard game, and I thought they took a toll on some of their guys tonight. Tim? Oh, here
Coach,
we go.
you've had kind of an odd April. Is this the best game you guys have played this month?
Yeah, I would say for 60 minutes, yeah, I would say. But, you know, we haven't been as bad as our record indicates either. I think we made some conscious decisions down the stretch to rest key people. You know, and even in some of those losses, we played some pretty good hockey for extended periods. So, but this is our best game for sure. Yeah.
You talked about how hard it is to win back-to-back games because the mentality changes for the loser. How much does that work to your advantage now? You've done it once; they haven't.
Yeah. No, I mean that's the challenge, and you know, as good as they were in game 4, you know, we're gonna get that same game from them again. I'm sure of it. So the challenge for us is to make sure we don't take a deep breath here like we did after game 3, and just hope to win. We've got to show up there and you know, have a version of how we played tonight, and you know, hopefully earn a win in there.
More questions. Coach, right here. Can you just talk about Jake Otten just poised down the stretch, giving up that second goal? Really seemed like he was dialed in the third period.
Yeah, poise is a great word for him. You know, I think that's exactly how I would describe him. And he's got a history. I saw a stat before the game, but, you know, game 4, 5, 6, 7 of series, I've said he gets better as the series goes on, as he works his way into it. In my history with him, you know, that's how he's looked at the most important times of the series, you know, has been rock solid like that. And he had a real composure and poise to him tonight. Even when it got to 3-2, you know, he made a couple saves. He made some saves look easy that were difficult, and that's what we need.
One last question. Yep. Hey, Pete, Mikko mentioned honesty. He thought the vibe after Game 4 was honesty, everybody being honest with each other.
Mm-hmm.
Now that you're riding high after the best performance of the series, how do you use honesty to try to get ready for Game 6?
Well, I think the result is how we'll use it. You know, we had our biggest offensive output playing our most honest game tonight. So, you know, those things go hand in hand for me. You know, you defend well, you take care of the puck, the goals will come. And I think, you know, we found that line tonight where you know, hopefully we understand that, and that's got to be a big part of our formula going forward. Okay.
Obviously, you guys have been challenged to score goals, and everybody comes through.
Yeah, it's I mean, huge win. Nice to you know, felt like we did probably our best job generating chances tonight, and it showed. So yeah, just huge win, and you know, huge one going in there. Game 6.
What you see on the opening shift? You just saw an opening, and
yeah, I just saw a little opening. Figured, why not? Let's try it. And yeah, lucky enough for winning.
You scored a lot lot of goals that way. Just those really sharp angles. Is that just kind of luck, or you practice that?
Yeah, I mean, probably mostly luck. I mean, when it's the biggest cliche. I hate to say it, but when you get pucks on net, good things happen. And so yeah, just sometimes you see something and you try it, and yeah, you never know. And if I don't want to say if you tried enough it'll go in, but yeah, it's always nice to throw something on it and go in.
Do you think it was a matter of time for Mikko to get on the score sheet?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's I had some he's obviously on the score sheet's one thing, but I think he's generated a lot. Made some great plays. Obviously, made a huge play on that overtime winner in Game 3. And yeah, I mean, he's an awesome player. He sees the ice so well. He can make plays. He can score. So yeah, it's awesome to see him to get one. I thought he was awesome tonight. And yeah, I mean, eventually, if you do enough good things, it'll start to go in for you.
Blackwood has been frustrating for you guys for most of the series anyway. What was it that unlocked him tonight, and what allowed you guys to finally kind of solve that riddle?
I think just continuing to get looks. Felt like we had a lot of good chances, and he still made ton of great saves tonight. So obviously quantity is a big thing. Just getting those opportunities, and then. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. He made some big saves, but I think we did a really good job generating and making it tough on him, giving him some different looks, and yeah.
All season, you guys have had these bounce back games after kind of poor performances. I guess what's the key going into Game 6 when knowing you can eliminate them?
I mean, just come out and put our best game forward. I mean, we know that they're going to come out with their best. It's their season's on the line, and I mean, it's really crucial to be able to put teams away just with how long the grind of the Stanley Cup playoffs is. Obviously, we don't want to look too far ahead, but they also win a Stanley Cup, and in order to do that, you need to I think it helps if you can put teams away when you have that opportunity. So I think for us, it's just be ready for us to play our best possible game and best game of the series, because we know they're going to be coming out really strong and with their best.
When they made it 3-2, was there any talk of anything? It just seems like that response was just as important as any in the game.
Yeah, I mean, I think we maybe got away from our game a little bit in that second period, got a little sloppy, which obviously led to some opportunities for them and obviously some goals. And yeah, I mean, I think that power play was a huge opportunity right after giving up a goal to get that 2-goal lead back. And yeah, I think just the response is so important after goals. We've had a couple times this series where we've scored and they've scored right after, so I think it's nice to kind of do that back at them. And yeah, I mean, it's just kind of the response, just getting back to our game, no matter what the situation is.
Just how did that feel?
Felt great. I think good bounce back from last game. It's we were not happy with how we played in Colorado, Game 4, and had a good meeting this morning, and I think we answered really well. And it's also big to start like we did. The first period was really good. Get 2-0 lead. It's a lot easier when you play with the lead, and I think that was our first lead for a while in the series. So it's a key factor.
Can you describe your goal and just the emotion after?
Yeah, it's. I think we defended well in the D zone. They took a shot at the net, and I saw Rupe was leaving, and obviously he's one of the best skaters in the league, and I threw it to him in the area and then just tried to beat my guy up the ice. And great pass by Rupe, but I think it went between the legs, and easy job for me, so good play by Rupe.
Did he say something to you right after in your ear? Can you?
Yeah, I don't remember. I think we were just all excited to score a goal, and help the team that way. I can't remember exactly what he said.
Is it a relief for you, Mikko? I mean, I know the team comes first, but to score and help your team.
Yeah, I think it's one of the things that we as a team and myself we haven't really done yet in the 4 games. We still were in 2-2 situation, but we knew as a top guys we need to step up a little bit and play a little bit better defensively and try to get on the score sheet a little bit more. But But like you said, it's not all about that, but I think it's going to help our team for sure.
Pete DeBoer, to that point, kind of laid a challenge at your feet and at the feet of a lot of your top guys, and in addition to that, kind of called this effort from y'all tonight and predicted that you guys would break through. What were the conversations like privately that you guys talked about in terms of getting the top players on this team finally unlocked?
Yeah, I think as a team, more in front of our team, we're an honest group, and we can all talk in front of the team, and yeah, I think obviously after last game especially, I think game 3 we took a good step. The whole team played a really good game, and then we kind of went back a couple steps again in the game 4. So I think everybody played a good game tonight.
In this series, you've had a lot of back and forth on both sides. What is going to be the key to, I guess, controlling the emotion and going in and getting that elimination game done in Game 6?
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. It's a tough building to play at, and they're obviously a very good home team, and we gotta stay out of the box when we go there. No penalties. Of course, there's gonna be penalties but nothing ozone or stuff. We try to prevent that and just play like we played the 3 games we won. I think those are all games how we want to play and play it simple.
There at the end of the game, Leon Bischel was in the box. Very physical game from him. What's it like to have a guy like that on the back end set a tone in that way?
Yeah, it's great. He's 7 feet tall or something with the skates and 300 pounds. So I'm happy to be on his side with the way he hits guys, and it's hard to go to the net when he's on the ice. He boxes out really well, and sometimes he gets calls against him just because he's so big. The smaller guys probably wouldn't get those calls, so he's unfortunate a little bit on that sometimes. But it's a physical game in the playoffs, and I think he feeds off of that, and I think he's played great.
So you guys wanted to get some scoring going, and you did.
Yeah, it was good bounce back from the whole team. Obviously, Chagi played again. So good game for us, so he kept us there. But obviously today we scored some goals. That was huge comeback from the boys.
What did you see on Mikko's goal, and how important was it for him to score?
I just try to get it through there. It was clear 2-on-1, so try to get it through the D-man, and then today he went through and he got it there, and good patience there, and then he finished it. So yeah, nice goal.
Did you feel it coming for him?
Yeah, he's playing well all the time. So obviously, there's times you don't score, but can't get too frustrated. Just gotta keep pushing and keep going, and eventually it's gonna come.
Would you yell in his ear after? We could see it looked emotional.
Some Finnish stuff we were yelling there.
Did you translate?
I can't remember what I said. He did say.
What's the chemistry like now that you guys have had a few games and you're kind of starting to learn what each other likes on the ice?
Obviously, of course, it helps when you get more games together. But I think if we just keep working and playing the game in a simple way, after that it's gonna come some. Then you can make some plays, and all the other things gonna start open up. So.
Why it was so great for you guys in the playoffs last year? How important was it for him to get a couple goals?
Yeah, obviously he scored in the first shift today, and he got us going tonight. So and the whole game he played well, and yeah, he's a huge part of this team, and yeah, great to see how he's doing.
Does it feel different when you guys are playing with the lead?
Of course, it helps, and you get the momentum right away for the team when you get the lead early, and then just try to go from there.
I thought it was interesting pregame. After the morning skate, DeBoer talking about some of the big-name guys on this roster that, hey, it's time to step up, and he kind of challenged, but in the same breath also supported and said, hey, they're all due. How do you respond to the way that he handled that situation and did challenge you, but also in the same breath did support?
No, I think, of course, yeah, I know, and everyone knows what he's saying, and but just try to do what you do and keep working, and just try to when you get those chances, try to put it in, or can't get frustrated because that doesn't help. So I think just talk with the line and try to go with the simple way, and then work from there.
All season, you guys have had these good response games after bad ones. What is going to be the key to going into Denver and getting that elimination game done in Game 6?
Yeah, I think we got to just play how we played tonight. simple game and work their D, get the pucks in, and just try to keep the momentum. And I think that's the biggest one.
How much confidence do you take knowing you closed it out over there last year?
Yeah, I don't know if you're gonna think about that too much. I think it's always a new series every year, but I think just try to build here and keep playing how we've been playing now today. So I think, and then give our best there. So.